Um, uh, Thank you, Deputy President, and I'm very pleased to rise to this motion. Thank you. And I think I just want to make note of the kind of graffiti amendment that the opposition has put forward today. It's almost like they've kind of like crossed out some of the letters so the word means something different altogether. You know, yes, omit Green New Deal, like, you know, omit wildlife, insert roads and pollution. You know, it really, like, how to completely change the whole motion. And in fact, I think I'm going to take some inspiration from this and look out for opportunities to do the same type of graffiti on some of Mr Finn's future motions. But yes, you know, we do need to do things differently. And this year, as this motion says, has been difficult for us all, and certainly far more difficult for many of us, for many people in our community. And this is going to have a long tail. 2020 is going to reverberate for the rest of this decade. This will not be forgotten, and we will need to do things differently. But let's take that as the opportunity that it could be. And this is what a lot of this motion goes to, about the opportunities that are in front of us to do things differently. And I totally support this, and I think we're seeing the world recognise this. We have all done things differently. You know, in the brief time, I mean, I'd like, as someone who's chairing the homelessness inquiry, you know, brought to the Legal and Social Issues Committee by Mr Barton, we are hearing how things can be done differently and how COVID has enabled that to happen and has enabled us to do things differently. No one would have thought in January this year that we would have been able to find housing for every single person who needed it and every single person who wanted it. Now the challenge is to maintain that. Now the challenge is to keep that going. And we're working differently. You know, who would have thought that we would be, Zooming each other? We would be, you know, in Brady Bunch boxes for most of the day. But it has shown that we can do things differently. And for many people, not being able to go to work or not having a job has been really difficult and damaging. And that's why we do need to invest in our care workers. We do need to invest. And again, if this year has shown us anything, we need to invest in our health system. Where this year has shown the cracks or the crevices in our health system and certainly in our mental health areas. So yes, we can invest, and we know that if the dollar that you invest into a care economy is a far better dollar than if you invest in a hard hat job. Now it seems that some people think the only way you can create a job is to build a road. That's not the case. And we have shown that by working differently, by staggering our start times, by working from home some days and working in the office on other days, that we are actually possibly not going to need the infrastructure that we have planned, that we're not going to need all of it, and that we should be rethinking this. We should be rethinking how we can invest in our community in really meaningful ways. You know, as we've seen, you know, the congestion on our roads, well, there isn't any. The public transport systems, you're actually able to socially distance on the trams at almost any time of the day because we're doing it differently. And as the Grattan Institute said, you know, we could be creating a herd of white elephants if we go ahead with some of the infrastructure that is being planned. So I support this motion. I laugh at the amendments. And I did, and I thought, look, if this was a joke, it was hilarious. But I support this motion. We can do things differently. We must do things differently. And we must take the challenges that this year has brought to us, the harm that this year has done to many of us. We need to take that and we need to look at that, and we do it differently, we do it better, and we create a better economy, a better Victoria.